can you say one incident or something that really finally you fixed? This is what I want to do in your masters. Is there a visit somewhere, or some experts who gave seminar, who came to your college, or your interaction with someone? Because yes, you wanted to do science and everything, but probably there could be some context or some situations. Finally, one let's say takes a decision based on that. Just that last moment, that fire comes from that. Something like that. I mean, interesting. Something did you have?
For me, it would be the field trip. So during our master's program, we had some field trips, compulsory, and then also part of the thesis. So we would go to an island in the Sundarbans, which is a reserved area, so only for research purpose. And I found it so exciting that we were living in the island. It had no electricity. We had to bring our own water and own food, and we were just doing science there. We were learning the basics of the water sampling, and the evening we would just light a lamp, the old-fashioned lamps, and we would do the measurements there. We had carried all our equipments. We would measure the oxygen, and that was so exciting to me, especially looking at so there was research scholars, the PhD scholars who were working like that. And so I was very impressed by that passion. And so you could say I wanted to do more then about it. And that was definitely, so the real nature is one of my main motivators, you can say. It was incredible.
Wonderful. I think so. You have seen, as you said, real nature in the sense also sometimes when no artificial, lightning, artificial noise or something, that you are just simply there, as you said, with the old mode of lamps and without having any so-called modern convenience, but merging into the nature. And yeah, really respect and appreciate that. that has really pushed you into that field which you are now into the long. So you did masters, and what was your thesis in the masters, or what was your actually the research subject you took for your short research?
Yeah, so I was looking at some salt tolerant mangroves, and I was looking at what are the optimum conditions. So I measured the sediment carbon content and the nitrogen content, and then the nutrients in the soil. And I did a seasonal cycle, so pre-monsoon and monsoon and post-monsoon. So it was a basic project, and so I did this. So we went to the Sundarbans a few times, collected the samples, and then did some measurements on field, and then we brought back some. So I got kind of a introduction to basic measurements in the seawater samples.
Okay. So because we are telling about measurements, salt tolerance mangroves, during a literature survey, I do not know whether you have come across Professor Kadiresan, maybe a name, probably, I don't know whether it says something to you. He was my actually supervisor in my marine biology, where I did also the cyanobacteria and mangroves, and so it's recently he is been awarded one of the 2% scientists in the world in some kind of a study and things like that. So yeah, happy to hear a lot about mangroves actually, because I lived also in the mangroves and did my research and everything. It's it's a price. It's a very nice. Also, as you rightly said, I could just go back to my times exactly in that Pichavaram mangrove forest. Also, it's the same. You go there are small islands, and you are sitting there, and it's so much of fertile actually soil with water as well, and True. So you did your masters, and then what was your plan actually when you started masters? What was your plan, and then during the course, how it probably in one way or other changed, or you just still your objective was one and then you reached that, or your objective was different and then during the course it became different?
So during my master's, I would like to mention one of my professors, Professor Sandeep Mukhopadhyay. He was our chemical oceanography teacher, and he told me that start preparing for the CSIR NET exam. When you have your own fellowship, your research can be more independent. You can, be more confident because you have your own funding. You can apply anywhere. So he told me that this is a good direction to pursue. So from my second year of master's, I started reading, preparing for my NET exams. And so usually in the CSIR NET format, the oceanography is a small module and the geology is kind of a significantly larger module, which was again a new topic for me as my background was chemistry. So I really had to read, apart from my general master's thing, I had to also read up on geology and a bit of geography and atmospheric chemistry. So on my first attempt in the CSIR NET exams, I secured a LS, the lecturership.
Okay.
So so I was still doing my master's. In the final year, we can apply for the exam. So that was also an encouragement that, I'm just a new person and I don't know these topics. And so if I try a little bit harder, maybe I can do it better. So, so the next time I really kind of devoted myself for the CSIR NET exam, and I got the junior research fellowship. So that time my professor told me he told me that CSIR National Institute of Oceanography is a good place for, they are one of the best, and even worldwide they have a lot of good reputation, so I should try there. So he had also done his postdoc, so he referred me to Dr. Waji Naqvi, who then later became my PhD advisor. So I wrote to Dr. Naqvi about my results and interests, and he called me for an interview in Goa. So then I went, and he asked me some questions, and he asked me that, here we are going to be doing full oceanography cruises. So it is not small scale like what I've done. And I have to be out at sea for many days. And so those are big ocean cruises, but we also have a lot of day trips. And those boats are very rough conditions often. So I'm mentally prepared to do that. So I said, yes, I'm very excited to do that. And that's how it started. So I packed my bags, came to Goa, and then I lived there for the next 5 years.
Okay. So yeah, very interesting. Actually, also it's nice to know that your so-called prospective supervisor told a lot of things to mentally prepare yourself for, and get to know that you're going to be in the sea and all those things.